What's up, beautiful humans? Today, I want to talk about waitlists, how to increase demand for what it is you're selling, whether you're selling a service, whether you're selling a coaching or mentorship offer, or a combination of the two. I want to talk about how to increase demand in that so that when it is time to sell, whether you're selling all the time, or whether you can constrict that into a week or so per month or quarter or whatever it might be, that there is demand so that the sale becomes easy. I just went through with clients we did a 2-hour workshop on this called the waitlist workflow. I'm going to touch on a couple of key pieces right now. I'm in no way going to try and replicate the whole thing, but where this came from for me was I started waitlists about 7 months ago, and this last waitlist that I built for a community we launched a couple of weeks ago called Modern Autonomy, we had 153 people join. And it was amazing. Like, the community is just incredible. But it was on the back of having 1,400 people on the wait list to be the first to get information when it opened. I started wait lists last year because I got sick of selling all the time. So there is strategy behind it. But first, it just started with the problem of the idea of waking up every day and selling and promoting and trying to get clients just wasn't the thing I wanted to do. It worked for a number of years. Chances are you probably feel the same way. The idea of waking up and who has sent me a DM and following up with prospects and constantly promoting can be exhausting. And so I want to walk you through the 3 things that you need to do to master to increase demand so that if you want to bring in a wait list, you can. The waitlist piece of it is the easiest part, which is simply put, you are mostly closed and you open once a month. Right? So it's as simple as when you're closed, you build a wait list, and when you open, you promote your offer. And if you're thinking that's not very helpful, or what do I do with that? That's exactly right. So I'm going to walk you through the fundamental pieces first that you need to really figure out for yourself so that you can increase demand so waitlist works for you, not against you. So the first thing that I walked through today is what we call the energetics of authority. What's really important to understand is that people can experience your emotional state. And don't click away if you're like, oh, this is going to be super woo-woo. It might be a little woo-woo, but my point being is this is going to be really, really helpful for you. If you're constantly in a state of neediness, you need clients to pay bills, you need clients to validate your ego, you need clients because you're insecure and don't know if you're a good person, and so you live your life based off what people think of you. All of that's going to come through in the way that you market and sell. People will experience that. Now, that might not come through in one video or in one post, but if you're trying to build a personal brand, build an audience in which people have a strong personal connection with you, people will feel that. And so what we have to learn to do is shift from need to want. And what that means is when we are in conversations with people, whether we're marketing, we have to move away from needing clients. Now, this is not just about having more money in the bank. That can help. But it's really that sense that when we are in a sales conversation, when we are trying to attract clients, we have this commitment to ourselves that we are going to make the sale. We're going to make the sale no matter what. We're going to convince people to work with us. And obviously that can get manipulative on one side and desperate on another. But everything changed for me when I stopped needing clients, when I stopped emotionally needing clients, when I stopped literally needing clients to pay the bills, and when I was simply just trying to find people that were the right fit for me. This is what I call the X Factor frame. We're all familiar with X Factor, Britain's Got Talent, things like that. There is no confusion about who is auditioning in that process. The judges aren't auditioning, they're not on trial. The person on the stage is in the hot seat. And it's up to that person on the stage to convince the judges whether or not they should get a spot in the next round, the trip to New York, whatever it might be. And so the frame is the judges are there to see whether the person on the stage is the right fit. That is what you should have in everything you do in marketing and sales. If you need that person on stage, the person on stage is the power. So when you are in the process of trying to attract clients and you were coming at it from a place of need, you will forever have the lower hand when it comes to the authority. There'll be no perceived authority. It'll simply be you almost begging people energetically and sometimes literally to work with you. And your standards for who's a great client is simply anyone with a heartbeat and a credit card. What you have to do is hold 2 things in tension: your commitment to growth and your commitment to simply helping people take the best next step for them, which is no longer entering into a conversation where you're simply trying to get someone to a yes, get someone to give you their credit card, but is a commitment to making sure that they do what is best for them, which means that you only want to work with people who want to work with you. It's not 2 needy people creating this yuck and ugly codependent relationship. It is 2 powerful people, 2 self-responsible people to self-responsible people choosing to work together. This is the energetics of authority. If you cannot get to that place where you are holding the frame of their auditioning, right, and you are simply trying to find if there's a right fit, and you can't commit to really just doing whatever is in their best interest, you will never develop the authority that you need in your market. What this means is you need to be okay with leaving money on the table. You need to be okay with looking at someone and going, man, if I pushed a little bit harder, or I convince them a little bit more, I could get the money, but I don't know if this is actually what they need. When you are able to leave money on the table and you're not trying to desperately convince people to work with you, but you're simply looking for good fits, this is the start of developing real authority and really high demand, right? So one of the things that worked with the 153 people that joined Modern Autonomy is all throughout the process, all throughout my marketing, copying my videos and things like that, I was using what I call the anti-sell, right? Which is like, this is not for you if this. And what it did was it repelled the wrong people and attracted the right people. So you need to maintain this level of authority, and you do this by not desperately needing people and trying to convince people to work with you, but simply finding people who are the right fit. And secondly, and this is the foundation, really just believing that you're adding massive value to the world. And that sounds fundamental, it sounds primary. You might be going, hey, I'm looking for the tactics, but I guarantee if you do not have this frame, none of what I'm about to say will work, right? The reason I'm able to attract clients with ease is because I do not need anyone, not on an emotional level, not on a financial level. And the less I need people, and the more I simply work with people I want to work with, the more desirable I become to the right people. So I'm hoping this makes sense. That's number one. Number two is what we call demand creation. I'm not going to go through all these things, but demand creation is the second big pillar, that if you learn to increase the demand for what you have, sales becomes easier. We understand the fundamental principles of entrepreneurship, of how marketplaces work, as supply and demand. If I have 100 people in a village and 50 of them want rice, and I have 30 bags of rice and it's priced at a reasonable price, there is demand that exceeds supply, which gives me confidence that I'm going to sell out of that and I'm going to have a profitable rice selling business, right? Silly example, basic concept. What we need to do is learn to increase demand for what it is we teach and what it is we offer, whether it's a service, whether it's mentorship, whether it's a community of some kind. And the way that we do that is by understanding that there are 3 sales that need to be made in order for someone to want to work with us and give us thousands of dollars. Aristotle talks about these as the 3 pillars of persuasion. So I've borrowed this, we use it in our community. It works phenomenally well. It's also the secret to closing without sales calls. Ethos, pathos, and logos. These are the 3 sales that need to be made. Ethos is about the sale of you. This is about people trusting you. This is about authenticity. This is about values. This is about people going, Dan's my person, Sarah's my person. This is where sales becomes easy, where you don't have to convince people to buy stuff. They already, they're the ones DMing you saying what do you have to buy? What do you have to sell? Because I'm all on you. I've been watching your content. I love you. The first thing you need to do is sell people on you. This is not a dancing bear show where you're trying to impress people. This is you strategically and intentionally sharing the values around who you are, sharing your personality, sharing your stories and experiences, so a human to human connection can take place so that people can be sold on you. Second thing that needs to happen is people need to be sold on what we call your big ideas. Now, fancy marketing speak, we can call it unique mechanism. Russell Brunson in Expert Secrets calls it the new way, the new opportunity. But it's really your big ideas that you share with your audience around how people go from where they are to where they want to get to in your world, right? So if you think about health and fitness for a second, when someone comes across a health and fitness coach, they need to encounter their big ideas really fast. Because if you're 30 days into following an influencer and all of a sudden you realize that they only work with people that are on vegan diets and you are wholeheartedly committed to eating meat, you've now found yourself in the wrong funnel, in the wrong place, following the wrong person. You need to have your big ideas throughout all of your content. This is the second sale that needs to be made, which is pathos, right? So ethos is first, it's the sale on you. Pathos is really the sale on your unique way of seeing things, your unique way of doing things that explains to people why they're frustrated, why they're stuck, and it presents this new path and this new way. So for example, I have a number of big ideas in my world that allow people to connect with me on an emotional level and connect with my work on an emotional level. One of the most fundamental ones is that I believe at least in my part of the world, that your business should be built around your life, not your life around your business. Now, this is fundamentally different than a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of coaches. But this big idea shapes everything I do, which is that business should be fun, it should be sustainable, it should be enjoyable. And what that means is it repels a certain type of person and it attracts a certain type of person. And then that big idea flows into other big ideas, selling without sales calls, because sales calls are mostly dumb. I'm projecting, but I don't like sales calls. So sales calls are mostly unenjoyable for me. And so I know that there's a subset of people that is unenjoyable for as well. So when people hear the value of your business should serve your life, and so therefore you don't need to do stuff you don't want to do, I'm attracting a certain type of person. Pathos, emotional connections. We've heard the saying that people buy off emotion and justify with logic. So you need to make an emotional connection, right? That empathetic emotional connection where people feel like you understand what they're facing, what they're struggling with, what they're feeling, and then you present a new path, a new way, a new opportunity. And this is your big ideas that people need to be bought into, because people can be bought into you, but if they don't be bought into your ideas, pathos, that ultimately the sale that results in them giving you thousands of dollars will not happen. The third sale that needs to happen is logos. And this is the logistics, this is the logic, this is the offer itself. Now, if we're looking at a funnel, when we talk about prospects being pre-sold, that is the first two sales already having been made before the sales conversation. They're already bought in on you. They're already bought in on the big ideas. Now the only conversation that needs to happen is your offer the right fit for what they need? Is it the right price, the right time, the right solution? That's the logic. That's the logos. And so one of the things that we found was when we were selling a Facebook group solution a couple of years ago, we realized that if people came to the call, because we were selling via sales calls at the time, and they were still unclear on whether Facebook groups were for them or how Facebook groups work, that sale was almost dead on arrival. It was so difficult to make. We had to convince people, oh my gosh, Facebook's amazing. I know you've heard LinkedIn is cool, but Facebook groups are even better. We realized that the secret was if we could sell them on that in marketing, then the only sale that needed to be taking place in the sales call was around the offer, because they're bought in on Dan, they're bought in on Facebook groups. Now they just need to be bought in on the offer itself. This is how you pre-sell people, is you take care of the first two sales in marketing. This is how I'm able to sell in the DMs. I've enrolled 120 clients and I guess now 153 new members into this community, all without sales calls in the last 15, 16 months, okay? The way to do that is you take care of the sale on you, the sale on your big ideas, your new way, before you have the conversation around your offer. Why this is key is this is how you create demand, right? Obviously, there are a couple of key pieces here. I just tripped over the standing treadmill desk I have underneath, so just ignore that. Super polished as always. The way that you create demand is you, number one, have a funnel that you can fill with traffic, and then number two, have content that sells people on you and sells people on your big ideas. This is the way that you create demand. It is a connection and a connection between the two things of size of audience and increase of audience size regularly, right? And the amount of people that are moving from cold to warm to hot through your funnel through your key content. Now we have different strategies we teach in our community, the lead magnet funnel, the mini VSL, but fundamentally it's bringing people into your world and it's using content to warm them up and get them sold on you and sold on your unique mechanism. That's demand creation. The third piece, really simply, is what we just call supply control. So what this is about is it is about limiting the amount of supply. Now, this is where it gets uncomfortable. If you want the most amount of growth you can possibly have every single month, and you're willing to stop at nothing short of drinking the blood of your enemies to do it, don't follow this advice. This advice is for people who want easy growth, who want stress-free growth. And what that means is if demand is up here, then you're willing to cap supply here. So let me walk you through what that means. Let's say, hypothetically, you have 100 people in your audience and it's taken 6 months to build 100 people. Out of those people, you've got 50 people who still don't really know who you are. They're just figuring you out. You've got 30 people who love you, 15 people who want to give you money sometime, and only 5 people who want to give you money now. What we are taught to do is we spend every day of every month searching for those 5 people. We're looking for the people that want to give us money, and we hustle our little butts off to do it. What happens though is that when we enter into a new month and we've already found those 5 people, so yay, we got 5 clients in June, now we have the problem of trying to create and find new demand. And so what that means is we now have to work really, really hard to get another 5 clients in this new month, which means sometimes we enroll people that were in the I like you, I kind of know you, and I'm not really ready stage, and we enroll those people and those clients refund and charge back and things like that. The secret is, if you have demand of 5, what if you only capped it at 3? Now, this is the magic and the challenge around this, which is obviously you have no idea how many people are actually ready and willing, but the point is that you are no longer going to really stress yourself out trying to get clients. You cap the supply strategically. So what this looks like is, let me just set this up real quick. Let me get rid of this. Oh, actually, I can just keep this here. So let's just say this is a flow of a month, okay? So in week 1 of the first month, you're open. Now, the way that you do this, again, everything else I've shared is fundamentally more important than what I'm walking through here. This is the tactics. The bigger pieces is the energetics of authority, right? Wanting people, not needing people, and then creating demand through getting the 3 sales of ethos, pathos, and logos. That's the fundamental stuff. But here, in week 1 of May, of June, of July, we open either for X amount of days, right, 5 days, or we cap spots. I'm opening up 5 spots. Which should you do? The answer is totally up to you. I have used both. If you are more carefree about your growth and you're less like trying to hit certain goals, simply opening up for X amount of days can be a really great way to like go however many clients join in 5 days is however many clients I'm going to take on. And then I'm just going to relax the rest of the month and focus on demand creation and serving the clients, right? Or if you're really like, man, if I only got 3 clients during this week, I'd be stressed out. I really need 6. Then you simply open up 6 spots, and maybe it takes you 3 days, maybe it takes you 7 days, maybe it takes you 10 days, maybe it takes you 21 days. But the thing you want to get to is you get to the point where you can announce my spots for this month are filled, right? You're now capping supply, and we know from every luxury brand on the planet that when there is capped supply, it increases the value perception, right? Now, of course, it's not as simple as just saying that one piece and everything falls into place. Oh, guys, I've got no spots left. If people don't want to work with you before that, they're not just going to want to work with you after that, but it does help. It's real urgency and scarcity as opposed to most urgency and scarcity, which is fake, which is made up, which is us just saying, 3 spots left, spots are filling fast. We just make stuff up. Then you focus the other weeks on building the wait list. Now, this is so primary, so simple that the simplicity of it can often be lost, which is that it's not that you ever stop promoting. It's just that you have to be okay with leaving money on the table and not trying to get clients all the time. And when you do that, you have time to create demand. And when you have time to create demand, the next time you open, sales becomes easier. Now, there's so much more that I could create around this, but the key things that you need to really think about is, number 1, the energy with which you run your business is felt by your audience. If you were desperate, scarce, stressed, that is probably the reason why you were desperate, fearing, scarce, because it's coming across in your marketing, which then it's like self-fulfilling prophecy, right? You're stressed about not getting clients, which then makes it harder to get clients, which then makes you more stressed. You have to step back and go, number 1, the value that I bring to the market is deeply valuable. And if you don't have that conviction yet, go and do the work to make what you bring to the market deeply valuable. Then the second thing connected to that is I'm no longer going to just work with anyone with a heartbeat and a credit card. I'm not going to project like that I need clients. I'm going to hold the X factor frame, and I'm only looking for people who are the right fit. So therefore, my job is to simply find what is the best next step for someone and encourage them towards that. And sometimes that is working with me, and sometimes it's not. And I'm detached from that outcome. And that is a secret to becoming energetically attractive and working with more clients. Number 2, we have to look at everything not just as 1 sale, but as 3 sales. Ethos, pathos, logos. Sales becomes easier when your marketing takes care of the first 2 sales. The sale on you, the sale on your way. then the only conversation that needs to be had is not, why should I trust you? What makes your method different? All they're trying to ask and answer is really, how does this offer work and will it work for me, right? Then the third thing is simply controlling supply, not being open full time. What happens is you get a lot of energy back. It feels amazing. But secondly, you're able to really create a allure around what you do, and you get to have a different relationship with your audience, which is one where you're not always asking for something. You're able to just contribute. You're able to actually serve people and add value. The energy you have around marketing and sales during the times where you're not even taking on clients is really, really magic. And there is a moment that I remember the first time I ever turned away money because someone offered me money to join the program when it was closed. And I said, no, it's opening in a few weeks. You can join then if you want, but you cannot join now. And when that happened, something shifted in me. I was like, whoa, I'm no longer the desperate guy trying to get any and every client. I'm now sought after, so sought after that I can turn away money and feel good about it. When you get to that space, everything changes and everything gets easier. And that is the secret that I've found to find that sense of flow and momentum and scale without living in stress. So I'm hoping this has been helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them below. But yeah, I'm trying to condense like a 2-hour, waitlist workflow that we just did into like a 20-minute video. But this is kind of just some basic things that I've been pondering and thinking about in terms of increasing demand that has massively brought a lot of friction-free growth to my business. So I'm hoping this is helpful. Sending you so much love. We'll talk soon.